Hello everyone, and welcome to Bullshit Hours, a Screamer event presented to you by Shrimp Fried Rice and the Lost Regiment. My name is Mila Bassett, otherwise known as Mila, and I will be the commentator for the event today. The event that we are going to be playing today is BSH5, otherwise known as Lore. Now, why is it called Lore, you ask? Well, because 4 of the prominent teams from Screamer's story mode, Kago Akai, Green Reapers, Anaconda Corps, and Strike Force Ramonda, are going to be pitted against each other with one person behind each of the characters consistently throughout the entire tournament. Much like in the story, there will be structured races, points awarded for each race, and a duel every so often that determines who will stay on the track and who goes home. We're currently setting up some things here on the back end as we get all of our players ready to start, but before we do, I would like to explain how the event will work at a higher level before we get into the races here. So, there will be 10 rounds. Each round will be a different scenario for our players, and their team placement, or member placement, for some of the races, will determine how many points they contribute to their team. Every so often, there will be a duel. The points leader, whenever a duel occurs, will be able to pick someone to challenge. And whoever wins this duel will stay in the tournament, and the loser will go home. This will repeat until the final duel for the last 2 teams, where the winner will be crowned. Now, please be patient as we set up all of our players here on the back end. Start with round number 1, which I'll talk more about in detail shortly. Since this is Bullshit Hours' first casted event, please do let us know if you would like to see this kind of thing return in the future for other Bullshit Hours events. This particular event, and much like all the other BSH events, are very unique in terms of how they handle. They do not follow a set structure from week to week, instead presenting new and interesting scenarios for all of our racers here, which I have the pleasure of being able to cast over here. And very quickly, once we do get all of our players in, we will be able to showcase just how interesting some of the lesser known formats of Some of the lesser known formats of Screamer can be played at the top level. I don't want to spoil too much about what there is to come, but rest assured, it'll be interesting. And here we do have our players now in the room, ready to race. So, let's begin talking about our first round in BSH 5 lore. So, round 1 is a members-only race. Both members on each team during the for the players in this event will be racing on Burning Plains, which is one of the speed type tracks in Screamer, where more emphasis is given to faster pace rather than being able to take super clean lines around very bendy turns. So this will really put each of the members to their absolute limit. Do remember that each person is only allowed to play one character throughout the entire event. So some characters are going to struggle here on this particular track. Akemi, with her extremely high top speed, can get a massive breakaway if left unchecked. And someone like Hina might not be able to do so well, especially on a speed type track. Hina excels more on technical tracks, but this is not a technical track. So you have to be aware of what your character choice is, of what the players are playing, in order to see who will come out on top in this race. So we do have our members in their member slots ready to race. We do have in the yellow squad, we have Kagawakai, spearheaded by Kokikiwi and Remy. On the red squad, we have Strike Force Ramonda with Drizzy and Mike. On the blue squad, we have Anaconda Core with Yoda and ELX. And on the green squad, we have the Green Reapers, very fitting for their color, headed by Lance and Flamingcat. So, each of these members are going to be playing their corresponding characters, and we are going to see who comes out on top. While we're setting up the back end here, let us know here in the chat what team you're rooting for, as there will be a consistent team to root for throughout the entire event. Are you a fan of Kagawakai's brutal racing style? Would you like to relax with the Green Reapers, the cunning and calculated style of Anaconda Core, or become an idol with Strike Force Ramonda? You let us know. Alright, it does look like some of the team positions got swapped around a little bit, but that is okay. We will deal with it as we do the race. And we are about to get into race number 1 with all of the members choosing their proper characters. Members only race on the Burning Plains. Who will come out on top? And we do see everyone divided by their team representation. So here we go. The first race of BSH 5 starts right now. We do see Kokikiwi repping Akemi off to an early breakaway. The members do seem to be really close together at the start of this race, but anything can happen as we do wait for the sync bars to build back up. We're coming into the shortcut here. Let's see if people take it cleanly. We do see everybody seem to take it cleanly from the start here. Everybody's up and ready to go. We do see a couple people already have their sync bars. We'll see what they choose to do with it. Sir Lance back here playing, who I believe to be Frederick. Definitely one of the riskier characters in the game, but he can really snowball if you're able to get into the pack. But they seem to just be trying to get ahead of the pack, not trying to play too aggressive here, which is fine. There's time to build up the snowball. There's this running plains is a 5-lap track. We do see a shield come out preemptively from Zephyr, maybe trying to avoid a strike bait or such. We are coming back onto the shortcut. Let's see how these players take it. Still mostly clean. Let's go over to the front where we see our Roshin Flamicat off in front, having a quite significant lead over the other racers. Roshin is well known to be really good on these kind of tracks, sporting a relatively decent top speed, but more importantly, being able to recover from turns or other mistakes quite well. We are going to see the shortcut come up again very soon. Flamicat still just absolutely dominating the pack. We do see ELX here playing Dirk amidst the pack. We do see Remy in overdrive as well, being able to overtake. Ooh, wow, what a KO there. That right before the shortcut, that is really going to hurt their pace. We do see Remy's overdrive fizzle out. They are still in 6th, but they can make something happen. Flamicat is still just so far ahead of the pack. Everybody is shielding to avoid Yoda's overdrive as well. We are on to lap 4, and there is still such a large gap in positions, but it does seem like everyone else is still relatively in the same pack. Remy is back in 8th, struggling to try and get their race into gear. But they are cagey. They can really get these fast overdrives. They're able to manage their resources correctly. You do see them about to take the shortcut, the last of the players here taking the shortcut. And they are able to take it cleanly. They are able to get their 4th entry more. Will they pop overdrive? Let's try and get a view on some other members while we're in the scene. We do see Mike being chased. We do see Yoda as well leading the pack with Hope. Hope is a very good member on these longer tracks, being able to build up that sync bar and having a lot of boost, but they're not too far ahead, unlike Flamicat. Flamicat really just being able to hold this down. They just took the shortcut on the final lap, so they're really going to be far ahead if they maintain. We do see Yoda pop overdrive in an attempt to catch up to Flamicat, but it might not be enough. There might not be enough time left. You see Flamicat is about to finish the race, and that will start the 1-minute timer. We do see a couple people get messed up on the shortcut, as the pack did split quite a bit. Will anything happen in the last couple seconds of this race? You see everybody coming to a finish. No last-minute KOs here. As the race concludes. Oh, wait, wow. Is that a KO there on the left? I think Mike might have gotten that last KO off before the race ends, getting them 1 extra position. But we do see that Flamicat and Lance are in 1st place for this first race here, netting the Green Reapers their 1st place for round 1. Absolutely fantastic work from the Green Reapers, being followed closely by Anaconda Core. And in 3rd and 4th place, we have Kagawa Kai and Strike Force Ramonda. That concludes the members-only race on round 1. We will be transitioning into round 2 very shortly, which is a leaders-only race as opposed to a members-only race. So instead of there being 8 people on the track, now there will only be 4. And the track that we'll be playing on is Gamma Facility. Gamma Facility, unlike Burning Plains, is a very technical track. Your knowledge on how to take so many of these turns are tested, and the way that you win is by taking the fastest lines. Now, the four leaders that are present in this event, aka Noboru for the Kagawakai, Hiroshi for the Green Reapers, Gabriel for Anaconda Corps, and Ritsuko for Strike Force Ramonda, each have their own strengths and weaknesses on these tentacle tracks. Hiroshi's handling isn't really the best, but they do have pretty stellar recovery off of those turns with his extended boost. Gabriel's handling is significantly worse than Hiroshi's, but his form of turn recovery comes from his absolutely absurd strikes, which can carry him insane distances down the field. Noboru and Ritsuko handle very well, and they have fairly good amounts of entropy and sync generation, respectively, to help them stay ahead of the pack. But we do go to the leaders. Noboru being represented by Kuzidas, Hiroshi being represented by Zephyr, Gabriel being represented by Grunkle Harry, and Ritsuko being represented by Sparrowhawk. So, what did you guys think of round one? Who were you rooting for which member were you rooting for during that race? Give us a little bit as we set up round number 2 with our leader players. These tentacle tracks like Gamma Facility are really a testament to how much people have been practicing this game since the launch of the game. People have gotten a lot better at Gamma Facility and other tentacle tracks like it because they're able to take these much faster lines even on more suboptimal characters like Hiroshi and Gabriel with their somewhat poor handling, but they're still able to recover, still able to stay in the race, which is just so important for something like this. Especially when there are only 4 players and every position means that you need to just be on top of your game. And because there's only 4 players, KO points are a lot less important as well, because the gap between each position is staggeringly high. Even between first and second place is a grand total of a 40-point gap, which is 3 KOs, so you really need to race well in order to stay ahead of the pack here, instead of relying on KOs. And we are on to Gamma Facility, the leaders only race. We do see Hiroshi up here in front initially, as we get off into our onto race 2 of Lore. All these leaders are really going to be together for the first part of this race here, until the sync starts generating and stuff starts going wild. But we do see radically different lines already off the gate from a bunch of these leaders. Grunkle Harry kind of struggling to keep up, but he is not to be underestimated. We do see this first sync bar get going. We do see Kuzidas in front, but followed very closely by Ritsuko from Sparrowhawk. We're going to see the Gamma Facility shortcut come here in just a turn. So let's see who's able to take it cleanly and who gets left behind, because this could make or break a race right here. We do see a shortcut. Everybody seems to be getting through just fine. Grunkle Harry currently trailing the pack, but don't count them out. Even though they may be 100 meters behind, they can still pack quite the punch. We do see a KO onto Kuzidas from, I do believe, Hiroshi, represented by Zephyr, allowing Sparrowhawk to take the lead. Let's go see what's up with them and see what they're up to. They're currently 100 meters ahead of Zephyr, which is such a huge advantage in something like this, where lines matter like everything. But Zephyr, unable to be denied, is catching up. Do not underestimate Hiroshi as well. They are a potent force of nature here. We are about to get into the cut for the second time, so will Sparrowhawk, as Ritsuko, be able to take it, or will Zephyr be able to close the gap? Let's see what happens. We do see them going into the shortcut. We do see both of them able to go in the shortcut. Let's see the other race as well. Kuzidas about 300 meters now behind Hiroshi. but they do seem to have also been able to take the shortcut fine. Grunkle Harry is currently struggling in the back, 250 meters behind. Gabriel is just not really meant for these kinds of tracks because their turning is not that great, and without being able to chain strikes on more members, his power to strike out of difficult situations becomes less and less versatile. We do see the top 3 leaders still being rather close though, so it could still be anyone's game. Kuzidas and Zephyr especially looking to potentially trade blows with each other. Sparrowhawk still maintaining a good lead, but even still, every single shortcut matters. You can't fumble at all, or there will be problems. We do see Kuzidas bump to the wall a little bit, but they are able to take the shortcut, and they do strike boost out of it to try and gain some speed back, but Zephyr and Sparrow still just unrelenting on their pace. We go into the second to last lap. Everything matters right now. Everyone is still really close together, but one mistake could send them out for the rest of the race. Sparrowhawk currently 190 meters ahead of Kuzidas. Let's see what's going on with them. Let's go to the front. We do have Sparrowhawk still just able to take these turns really well. Ritsuko has such good handling, probably the best handling out of any of the leaders, followed closely behind by Naboru. Now able to maintain a 200-meter gap on Zephyr. We haven't seen very many strike play this race, but it kind of makes sense as these leaders mostly just want to run away to try and get these points. They aren't looking for combat because combat isn't going to net them enough points to be worthwhile. And we do see Sparrowhawk representing Ritsuko go into the final lap with Zephyr and Kuzidas following behind. Kuzidas now 400 meters behind. We also see Zephyr at a quite significant disadvantage of 200 meters. Let's go to Grunkle Harry, see what he's doing over in the back. We do see Grunkle Harry pop overdrive in an attempt to catch up, but Sparrowhawk is 1,200 meters ahead. It might just be too late for them to be able to catch up here. But we do see Zephyr and Kuzidas are still quite close together, so there's no telling who's going to take second or third between those two. Sparrowhawk 400 meters ahead. Very good. Unless they make the mistake on the shortcut, they are guaranteed to get first here. Let's go over to Zephyr and Kuzidas to see how they're battling along. We do see them both take a shortcut. Oh, we see Kuzidak over the strike! They both strike, so neither of the strikes connect because of how fast they are, but we're about to get into the final stretch here. Who will take it? And we do see Zephyr cross the line first over Kuzidas. And now it is over to Grunkle Harry, who is the only person who has yet to finish the race. He will be finishing fourth behind all the other leaders, but an amazing performance from Sparrowhawk, taking first place for Strike Force Ramonda. Very well done. Following in second is Zephyr of the Green Reapers, then Kuzidas of Kagawakai, and lastly, Grunkle Harry from Anaconda Corps. Congratulations to Strike Force Ramonda for winning race 2. And now, we are on to our third race of the event. First, we had our members event. Second, we had our leaders event. But now, for our third race in the event, all the members and leaders are going to come together in a 12-player trios race. All 4 teams are going to be using all 3 of their members in order to gather points for their team. And the track that this will be taking place on is Hawk Trail. Hawk Trail, an infamous track known for being one of the twistiest tracks in the entire game. You seriously need knowledge of how to take these corners in order to succeed here, but especially on a 12-player race such as this, these tracks can seriously get congested really fast. And we're going to be seeing the typical pack split that is much like our usual Screamer that we see, where the leaders will be battling up front and the members will be trying to score KOs on each other out back. This is the Screamer that we're all used to, but we're going to see these teams represent the organization that they're part of to try and take the edge over the competition. There are a couple characters that stand out here on Hawk Trail. Hina, of course, We love Hina. We love Hina on technical and twisty tracks. These characters especially absolutely succeed on Hawk Trail. We do have other fan favorites like Roshin. Roshin is also very good on Hawk Trail. There are some characters that are not so suited for Hawk Trail. Some of Anaconda Core is unfortunately not very good on this track. Hope can find it difficult to build up her sync meter, and Dirk, if no one is around, really suffers with his poor car handling. But they can both make it up with good driving, and if there's a pack, especially, Dirk can really come back on these tracks. Frederic is also a character of contention, as he is very likely to ram himself into the wall when trying to strike, but again, if there's still a pack, he can make it work. If he's allowed to snowball, he can and will become a force of nature, so don't let that happen. Just about every character is viable here on Hawk Trail. It's going to be very interesting to see how they interact with their leaders, as usually we don't normally see as diverse of a composition as this. And we are about to get into Race 3 of Lore. Waiting on our players to pick their assigned characters, and then we'll be off to the races. And here we go. Race 3 on Hawk Trail, with all 4 teams with all of their members in the ring. Let's see what happens. And we do see that all 4 teams have been assigned. All 4 teams are with their proper characters. So let's get off to the races. Here we are, spectating Zephyr on Hiroshi. We do see Kuzidas with them. We do see all the leaders are off to the races. Sync is building up. Sync builds up no matter how fast you're going. It's just a timer. However, active shifting does help you regain your sync bar faster. So the faster you can get your sync bar up, the more of an advantage you have on the rest of the competition. We do see some collision here from the top members, but Kuzidas able to use Naboru's superior handling to obtain a little bit of a gap, but no gap is ever permanent. We do see a little bit of a wall ride from Zephyr to try and take that corner, which is going to become essential. We see Lance on Frederic, who's going to be attained. Wow, what a strike! But didn't quite see who that was on. Some people didn't take the cut super cleanly, which allows some of the people to break away, but there is still a good pack. Let's go over to the front here, see what Sparrowhawk is up to. Sparrowhawk currently ahead of the other leaders, but not by too much. Sparrowhawk on Ritsuko is simply a force to be feared. Good shield from Sparrowhawk to defend the attacks from Kuzidas. And Kuzidas and Sparrowhawk still neck and neck. Grunkle Harry on Gabriel still falling behind them. Good shield bait from Sparrow. Wow! Grunkle Harry flying across the screen to try and KO Sparrow. Kuzidas, and someone misses both of them. Sparrow Warhawk now attempting to get over there. We do see ELX on Dirk using Bloodthirst to bait the shield out of Sparrow, and Sparrow gets caught on the corner. Gonna use a strike to retaliate and KOs Grunkle Harry on Gabriel. It's gonna be really hard to recover from. We see Sparrows just going on a rampage, using all of their strike to try and get some offensive presence back into the game, but his opponents for the most part are shielding his attacks, so it remains to be seen what's going to happen with it. We do see Zephyr sneak up on into first place, but not super far ahead. So let's go back to some of the members here, see how they're doing. We do see Drizzy here on Hina, the evergreen pick, on tracks like this, up in the pack. We currently have Strikeforce Ramonda in a very good position in first place right now with 375 points, very far ahead of any other team. But remember, these points can change so rapidly, especially as the leaders trade positions. But we do have an overdrive coming out of Hope. Unfortunately, they're not super close to Flemicat on Roshin, so they're not going to be able to get the momentum that they really need in order to stay in this race. But there is potential as long as the race isn't over. They do pop a shield here in order to not crash. What's going to happen? They pop another shield. Their sync generation is not going to be super good after this. They're going to have to rebuild that meter. let's go on over to some of the other members. We do see Flamicat getting KO'd by Frederick. Very good. We do see Grunkle Harry currently trailing behind all the leaders. Drizzy being able to catch up and secure 3rd place. Grunkle trying to strike out Drizzy, but misses. Drizzy is still right behind them, can retaliate with a well-placed strike. We do see Sparrowhawk and Zephyr still fighting in the front. Really makes me wonder what happened to Kuzidas. Kuzidas is down in 5th place behind Grunkle Harry. We do have to wonder what happened to them. We do see some members here in the back. We have a strike bay. Let's see if we can get a 3rd-person camera to see what's going on better. Unfortunately, Kuzidas is just too far away from anyone else. ELX in prime position to strike. Kuzidas is trying to do anything they can to get away to prevent something catastrophic from happening. They really need to catch up if they want these points. Strikeforce Ramonda still clearly in 1st place after the final lap. So we are going to see Zephyr is still holding on to 1st place though. That's keeping Green Reapers in the game, which is so important for the members. It is very close though between Zephyr and Sparrow. Let's go over to them and see how their race is going. We do see them both take the shortcut here. Sparrowhawk is taking it a little bit better with that boost onto the shortcut. Zephyr is 120 meters ahead. The Green Reapers are now back in 1st place. Their members are doing quite well. And I do believe Zephyr is going to be the one to take this. And there is the 1-minute timer. We do see Sparrowhawk slide into the finish line in style. Let's go back to their members to see what's going on there. We do see Green Reaper. We do see the other leaders finish. We do see the Green Reapers in 1st by 85 points. The Green Reapers really did clean up their act with the members, and that allowed them to get up there. A lot of these other members using overdrive to try and salvage other positions they can, but unfortunately, it is just maybe too late. We do see Code Kiwi finish, and Kagawa Kai looking a little worse for wear in this particular match, but a very close race indeed, with the Green Reapers taking 1st place, followed by Strikeforce Ramonda, Anaconda Core, and then lastly, Kagawa Kai. A very close race between Strikeforce Ramonda and Anaconda Core specifically, differing by only 10 points. We do see these members in their different positions, but remember KO points also just began to play so much importance again in this particular race. There were just more people to KO, more people to overtake. So that's what led Green Reapers to victory, along with Zephyr just being able to hold 1st from Sparrow Warhawk. So now, we have our first 3 races in lore finished up and ready to go. We are currently finalizing our score lists for the first 3 races, but after this, there will be our first duel. So, once our points leader is figured out, they will be challenging another team to a duel. And these duels work much like duels in the story. If you win the duel, you will stay in the game, and if you lose the duel, you will be knocked out of the event for the rest of the time that the event is going on. So you really don't want to be slacking on these duels, because they determine whether you stay in or not. So, we are going to take a brief recess to collect our point total and allow our champions to be revealed. And we do have confirmation of the point leader after our first 3 races, and that would be the Green Reapers with 38 points. Strikeforce Ramondo leading behind them in 2nd with 31. We have Anaconda Core in 3rd with 25, and Kagawa Kai with 22. So, it now remains to be seen, who will Green Reapers pick as their dual opponent? Will it be the idols over at Strikeforce Ramonda, the executives over at Anaconda Core, or the Japanese Yakuza of Kagawa Kai? Who will they want to eliminate first? That is, if they can't eliminate them. Some highlights from our first 3 races. Sparrow Warhawk really showing that they know what they're doing on Ritsuko. Most often a player known for playing Hiroshi in other tournaments. When they started playing Ritsuko, they were just a complete menace on the track, being able to take these leads and keep them for as long as possible. Though Zephyr has tried to reclaim the mantle of Hiroshi player and seemed to have done a pretty good job on round 3, being able to keep Sparrow Warhawk at bay from playing Ritsuko. We are still awaiting the opponent selection for the first duel from Green Reapers. Will they choose to go for the second place team to try and take them out quickly? Or will they go for the easy kill and choose last place? Or will they do neither and choose Anaconda Core in third, just to mix things up a bit? But remember, even if you do pick an opponent that might be weaker, that doesn't guarantee that you'll eliminate them. You do still have to win the duel. You do have to make an informed decision on who you are going to pick. Because if you lose the duel due to some incorrect calculation, even as the points leader, if you lose that duel, you're going home. It does not matter if you are the points leader, you will go home if you lose the duel. So you do have to be careful. You do have to know what you're doing when you make this pick. And we do have our confirmation of who is picked. And the Green Reapers picked Anaconda Core to be their duel opponent. Now, to explain how these duels work. These duels are normal trios races, much like we've seen in many other races across the time. It is 2 teams of 3, Green Reapers in this case, and Anaconda Core. The duel is the best of 3. Before each race, the team that issued the duel, we'll call these guys the challengers, aka Green Reapers in this case, will ban a region. So a region in this case being one of the 4 track groups, either Niore, the Desert, Skyro Desert, the Forest number 13, or the JSI Exoport. The challenger will ban an entire group. Then, from the tracks that remain, the team getting challenged, the defenders, otherwise known as Anaconda Core in this case, will pick a track that is available to them. And this will repeat before each of the 3 races. Now, of course, if one of the teams wins 2 races in a row, the 3rd race is skipped, and the winner is declared just from those 2 races. But if we do get down to the 3rd race, then all the regions except 1 will end up being banned. So the track choices do get particularly more restrictive as the duel goes on. But since the defender is the one picking the track, they ultimately have the most control. So we are going to wait to see who Green Reapers are going to ban. The Green Reapers have chosen to ban Neo Ray. That means only tracks in the Skyro Desert, Forest number 13, or JSI Exoport regions can be picked for this first race. We will see what track Anaconda Core picks for the first race of our first duel. Anaconda Core end up picking Hangar 18, a track that we seldom see in these tournament series due to people disliking its relative simplicity, but Anaconda Core may have a strategy. Will their lower handling cars be able to beat out the Green Reapers on this particular track? The team selection that each of these players are assigned is a key part of the strategy. If there's a track that the defenders are more confident on, just based off of their car styles, they are going to pick them. So the challenging team has to be aware of what tracks these specific players are good on with their specific characters, because it matters a lot more than in a typical setting. We are waiting for our players to prepare for their very first duel here. And the race is about to start. Good luck to both of our teams in the first race of the first duel. Who will come out on top? And now we're on Hangar 18. Let's start the race up. We are over here again on Zephyr's POV. We do see them taking off with Hiroshi. Let's see who takes it. Zephyr and Grunkle Harry are going to be fighting up in the front, whereas all the members are going to be fighting over in the back, just because this track does have quite a few straight lines, so they're going to be split quite evenly. We do see Grunkle Harry taking a very early lead, but not one that'll last for long if they're not careful. The leaders are all bunched up together, the members rather, and we are waiting for our sync to generate. And we do see our first bars of sync coming out. We do see them boost across the shortcut. The shortcut is very awkward. You do have to make a 135-degree turn. If you're not prepared for it, you get bumped out of it. You're not going to be able to take the shortcut. We do see the Green Reapers having the most amount of points right now, but that could all change. We do see a strike from Grunkle Harry to get across the corner at full speed, which is super pivotal for Gabriel, as this turning is not otherwise the best. We do see Grunkle Harry slow down to try and get the cut. They do manage to make it, accompanied by Zephyr, still very close up in the front. We do see them turn around. Let's take a look at our members, see how they're doing. We do see the members are still bunched up quite close. You see Yoda slipstreaming off of Lance, still playing Frederick, of course. Will they try to get a strike on Lance and Snowball, or will they choose to play more cautiously and wait for the right moment? Because Lance is going to break away if left unchecked. And we do see Flamicat with Roshin about to enter the fourth lap, trying to catch up to ELX. ELX about 60 meters ahead, but still quite a significant gap on a track such as Hangar 18. Let's go to the front. Let's see if the leader is still fighting. We do see Roshin attempting to take the strike there, but ultimately, because of a shorter strike distance, didn't result in much action. We do see Grunkle striking across the shortcut. They now have a 300-meter advantage on Zephyr. I wonder what could have happened to them. Maybe he took a bad line, but Grunkle on the final lap now, 350 meters ahead of Zephyr playing Hiroshi. That is enough to settle the leader position, which is so bad for Green Reapers. We do see Anaconda Core now in first by 140 points. The members really have to make something happen. Zephyr just unfortunately not able to catch his gap. Now in third, and we do see Grunkle Harry finished now. Zephyr unfortunately just falling behind these positions to these members, and also allowing ELX to finish in second as a member. That's going to cost them so many points. But we do see that Grunkle Harry and ELX placing first and second, even though Yoda placing last as hope. It doesn't matter, because Anaconda Core have taken race 1 in the duel. So the score is now 1-0 in Anaconda Core's favor. Very unfortunate for the Green Reapers, and this is what I was talking about with these track selections. They have to be very careful on what tracks that they're going to ban, because of the way that these teams are structured, the defending team is going to be picking tracks that are relevant to their strengths. And in this case, the more straight line nature of Hangar 18 worked perfectly to Anaconda Core's advantage. But it remains to be seen how Green Reapers are going to adjust their strategy going forward. And now we wait for our next region for Green Reapers to ban. They've already banned Neo Ray. and Hangar 18 was picked in JSI X support, though that doesn't mean they have to ban JSI X support. They could ban another region instead, but will they ban X support, or will they choose to allow X support tracks to continue being selected? Because typically, those X support tracks are technical tracks. Hangar 18 is one of the only exceptions to that as it stands, but we'll have to see how these teams just switch their decision making in the process. Green Reapers cannot suffer another loss, because if they lose again to Anaconda Corps in this duel, they will be eliminated from the tournament. And you absolutely do not want that happening, especially when you had such a strong start. All that matters to Anaconda Corps right now, though, like they have to disregard their point total. They are one race away from knocking arguably the greatest threat currently in the event completely off. And we do have our information on the region that Green Reapers banned. It is JSI Exoport. So now Anaconda Corps only have between the Forest number 13 tracks and the Sky Road Desert tracks to pick from. What will Anaconda Corps respond to Green Reaper's ban with? Because there are quite a few tracks that are speed-oriented. Speed-oriented tracks are what Anaconda Corps really excels at, so it's going to be interesting to see what they pick. There's quite a few of them. There's Burning Plains, there's Ashes to Ashes, arguably something like Rainy Retreat also qualifies. There's quite a few options available to Anaconda Corps that really play into their strengths, but we'll see what they do. And actually, what Anaconda Corps chooses to pick is Hawk Trail. Hawk Trail is a very twisty track, but just because it's a twisty track doesn't mean Anaconda Corps is bad on it, because remember, Gabriel has these absolute monster strikes that can really catch the opposing team off guard, especially being able to wall right off of them for a very significant distance. Especially with a congested space such as this, you may just see some immediate knockouts, and getting KO'd early on in this duel format where there's not a lot of players is almost a death sentence. And we are about to go into race number 2 on Hawk Trail in our first duel. The record is 1-0 in favor of Anaconda Corps. Will Anaconda Corps pull through and knock out Green Reapers in the first duel? Let's find out. And we are off to the races. Let's see just how well all of these leaders and members can perform on Hawk Trail, racing on here for the second time today. So, let's see what happens. Zephyr and Harry, both right next to each other, as is customary. Zephyr's slightly ahead just due to his better handling and the fact that Gabriel doesn't have access to his strikes yet. It's really important. We do see Roisin overtake now, actually. Roisin is, again, another favorite pick on this track just due to how twisty it is and how good her strikes are at being able to recover after turns. So naturally, Roisin is just going to be at an advantage on this track. We do see all 3 members of Green Reapers are currently ahead, actually, which is an insane statistic, because that means that all 3 members of Anaconda Corps are really struggling to catch up here. We do see Gronko Harry trading position with Sir Lance quite often. We do see ELX kind of bumping into the wall, but it's not looking very good for Yoda already. They are 300 meters behind. ELX trying to get the strike on Sir Lance. Sir Lance does shield, but they are able to overtake, which does matter in the grand scheme of things. Lance explodes on the wall from a strike. That is gotta hurt. Gives Yoda potentially an opportunity to catch up. Let's see how Yoda's doing over in the back. Yoda is playing Hope, so they do have to take some time to get their strike built up, but is that a strength in these dual formats? There's just not enough players to catch up to. Sir Lance already 250 meters ahead, which is just not something you really want to see as Hope, because you might not be able to make full use of your sync to be able to boost back up to the pack. But it's not too far of a distance, especially with the shortcut. Sir Lance about 250 meters ahead. Let's go back to the leaders and see how they're doing. We do see Zephyr over in first. followed closely by Roshin still, only 100 meters behind. Grunkle Harry, it did strike on the wall there to try and catch Roshin off guard, but unfortunately does miss. There is still opportunity for a KO here. Grunkle refusing to let Roshin get away. Zephyr is still ahead by about 100 meters. But this is still not a super significant gap when it comes to Hawk Trail. Hawk Trail is one of these tracks where if you mess up once, you can really cause some problems. We do see shortcut is taken quite cleanly, but Roshin is widening the gap on Gabriel, which is something to be known. We do have Yoda in overdrive now, being able to catch up from their gap and go into 4th place. We have Sir Lance now down in last place, about 100 meters behind ELX playing Dirk. They do have to try and get back into the game. They do have some strikes available, but ELX chooses to break and strike out Lance. What a great play. Yoda's overdrive is still going, by the way, but not able to break into the top 3. We do have ELX still battling at the back. We do have Grunkle Harry and Roshin from Flamicat also still battling. Roshin is almost as good as a leader on this particular track, and so they do have to be really careful. The point distribution is very close. It's 20 points now between Green Rivers and Anaconda Core going to the final lap, but I do believe there was a position to overtake because now the difference is 80. What a huge gap. Oh, but it's traded again. These points are so volatile. Remember, there aren't that many members in this race, so any position jump up or down is a large difference. It's 20 points still. Grunkle Harry now able to break past Roshin 200 meters ahead, but the problem is Zephyr is 400 meters ahead of Grunkle Harry now, which is a very hard distance to cover on a track like this. So the other members of Anaconda Core really need to step it up if they want to be able to overtake. We do see everybody is sort of split apart now, except for the people in the back. We do see an overdrive coming out from Yoda, but unfortunately there's just not enough people around for them to get a KO off of, and the 1 minute timer has started from Zephyr finishing, with Grunkle Harry going to finish very soon as well. We do see Yoda shield to get around the shortcut at full speed. Are they going to crash, or will they make it to the finish line? They do shield again. Ooh, but they explode on the wall because they run out of sync. Very unfortunate. We do see Lance and ELX in the back sort of playing chick with each other because they know these points matter. ELX really needs to make a play on Lance, but Lance is not letting them. ELX is braking slightly. They really want these strike. Lance choosing to go around the cut and try and break away. We do see ELX get a kill on Lance, but it's still not enough. There's still 5 points. ELX knows this. He needs to be able to, he needs to break. He needs to get the kill on Lance, or their team is not going to win. They need this kill. What's gonna happen? We do see Lance finish first, and that is going to be the race, with Green Reapers finishing first. Anaconda Core, especially ELX, playing Dirk, making a very significant attempt to come back, but in the end, it was not enough. And the score is now tied up, 1-1, Anaconda Core versus Green Reapers. So there is only one race left in the duel to determine who goes home and who stays to play out the rest of the event. Whew. What an intense race, especially at the end. That point gap was really close. And now we weigh on whether or not which track is going to be, which track region is going to be banned last. We have X-Support and Neo Ray already banned by the Green Reapers. So they need to decide if they're going to ban Forest or the Sky Road Desert. We are waiting here for our ban pick from the Green Reapers. Which tracks are they the most afraid of is a question that is on all of our minds. This decision is going to take quite a bit of time, but we do have to remember that these guys are playing with their turn of participation on the line, so it is okay that they're taking the time to discuss what is going to be the best plan moving forward. We do have word that the Green Reapers have banned Sky Road Desert, so the only region left to pick tracks from now is Forest number 13. Forest number 13 tracks do tend to be on the more technical side rather than the speed side, but there are still some tracks available to Anaconda Core that play into their strengths. Hawk Trail might not have been the best pick on their end, but there are still some that will resonate with Anaconda Core strengths. Let's hear from the chat. Which team are you rooting for in this duel? Are you rooting for our protagonists, the Green Reapers, or for our antagonist, the Anaconda Core? We are patiently awaiting our pick from Anaconda Core. This track is do or die. If they win on this track, they will advance onto the second phase of the event, and if they lose, they will go home. And we do have our pick from Anaconda Core. We are going to Rainy Retreat. Probably one of the most speed-oriented tracks in the Forest number 13 set. So it only makes sense that Anaconda Core would pick this to really play into their strengths the most possible. There's one race left in the duel. The winner goes on, and the loser goes home. And we are starting our final race here on Rainy Retreat. This one is for all the marbles. We do see, of course, our two leaders breaking away from the rest of the pack quickly due to their higher speed, with our members here in the back as our sync begins to build up. We are coming on a very long straightaway here before the turn, so these guys are going to be breaking away from the members, and these guys are going to be fighting their own separate battles. We do see ELX here, still with the rest of the pack. Yoda taking the time to build up their sync, not too far behind from the rest. But we do see that everyone is still rather compact together on these first few turns. That could all change in a moment as our sync is now in play. So we're just gonna have to see when our first race comes out. We do see Grunkle Harry making a little bit of a mistake and being sent all the way back to fourth, allowing Zephyr to get a 100-meter breakaway, but it is Gabriel. Gabriel is known for his speed, so he will be able to catch back up with relative ease. We do see now ELX and Grunkle rounding out the top three. At the current moment, we have Zephyr in first place, leading their team to have the most amount of points at the current moment. Flamicat still holding down the top three as best they can, but it seems they made a mistake and fallen quite a bit. And really an unfortunate series of events. We do have Grunkle Harry striking to try and get around the bend and capture the Zephyr, but Zephyr is 400 meters now ahead. We do see Yoda here, still with the rest of the pack, still with Lance. What are these two players going to do? Yoda attempts to boost to try and break away on this turn. We'll see what Lance does to follow up. Lance is now behind Flamicat. We do see the two Green Reapers members now down in bottom two. Although Roshin, played by Flamicat, is now rising back through the ranks. It does seem like the members are all still in a pack of their own, but when it comes to leaders, Zephyr is just completely gone from Grunkle. Just astonishing how far they were able to get ahead. Grunkle has nearly no chance of catching back up now, but Yoda and ELX are going to try and support Grunkle as best as possible, get as many points as they can, because every single point matters. They need to hold down these positions, because Zephyr being in first is not enough to win their team the race if their members don't also perform. So we will see Yoda now in overdrive. We're going to see them try and hold down third place as best as possible. We do see the two members of Anaconda Core well ahead of the rest of the pack. We do see ELX still between the other two members of the Green Reapers. Will ELX be able to make something happen here? They are Dirks, and so they do have some quite weak strikes, and the opponent distance is a little too far to be able to get much distance off of those strikes to activate his Bloodthirst. But it's still not over. There's still 2 laps in Rainy Retreat. So, what is going to happen next? We do have Flamicat with Roshin trying to get back into this race, but unfortunately, there is just so much of a gap. Sir Lance also in a similar position, just not having the means to come back with their abilities, because Frederick really needs people to snowball off of, and he's not able to do that when he's this far behind the pack. We do have Grunkle and Yoda still holding down second and third quite firmly. So they need to keep this pace up if they do want to beat the Green Reapers. Conversely, the Green Reapers, they really do have to pick up that pace if they have any hope of beating Anaconda Core in this duel. 65 points behind, and no KOs are likely going to happen for the next lap. They need to catch up. They are not in a good position right now. Flamecat still 200 meters away from Grunkle Harry. Lance activating Overdrive to try and catch up to ELX. This might mean something, because ELX is not super far ahead, and this pack could quickly turn into a mess. ELX now passing. We do see a good shield from ELX. Lance exploding on the wall, trying to strike him out. That's going to set him back even further, but it's still relatively close. The Green Reapers are now back in first. These positions, it matters so much. Each position change is causing the winner of the duel to shift. It's going to come down to the wire, even with the top three completely determined. The pack is now completely back together, which is such a huge difference. We do see the 1 minute timer come up, but that's not going to be the most of the worries. We do see both Green Reapers members down in 5th and 6th. They both need to catch up here to ELX if they want to win. Flamecat now overtakes ELX. ELX uses strike to get back ahead. Flamecat uses strike, actually does connect. And that sent ELX back, but ELX does strike Flamecat back. But ELX also gets KO'd, and I think that's going to be a victory for the Green Reapers. Completely incredible sequence of events down to the wire. And we see the Green Reapers take the final race in the duel, which means the Anaconda Core are eliminated from the tournament. What a sequence of events. Both of the Green Reapers members being able to catch up to ELX to try and get some points back. And in the end, even though there were a bunch of trades, the Green Reapers did end up coming out ahead. So congratulations to the Green Reapers for being able to defend themselves in this duel. And we're gonna have to say goodbye to Anaconda Core because they are out of here. We are currently preparing to go into round 5 of BSH 5 lore with our 3 remaining teams. Green Reapers, Strike Force Ramonda, and Kagawakai. With Anaconda Core now being eliminated from the tournament, only 9 players and 3 teams remain. For round 5, we are doing a more unorthodox type of race for this upcoming round. Only one of the members will be allowed, from each team will be allowed to participate in this race. This is a 3-person race. So, each of the 3 teams are going to send one of their members, not their leaders, but only the members are allowed to participate in this one. Each team will choose one of their members to participate in this race. So they need to choose one person each to race on the next track. Now, what is the next track, you might ask? Well, we are actually going back to Rainy Retreat. Rainy Retreat, again, is one of these speedy tracks, so any members of the group that are oriented toward these more speed-oriented tracks are going to be better picks. Especially since, remember, the track picks are consistent, or the member picks are consistent for these players. So each player with their assigned character is going to be playing the same one. So the strategic decision on who to send in is going to be important here. So as we await the member picks for each of our teams, now that we are down to 3 teams, which team are you rooting for to be the points leader for the upcoming duel? Let's hear it from chat. Alright, we do have our individual member picks. We have Remy representing who I believe to be... We have Remy representing Kagawakai playing Keiji. We have Flamicat representing the Green Reapers playing Roshin. And we have Mike representing Strike Force Ramonda playing as Akane. So that is going to be our member list for our upcoming race on Rainy Retreat. And we are about to get into round 5 of lore with our 3-member race. These position points are going to matter so much more than normal, especially with the lowered player count. A KO on one of these guys could just mean immediate death, because it is going to be very difficult to catch back up. So let's see who's able to take it. And here we go, the second phase of the lore tournament is now begun. We do have to wait for the sync lockout to conclude before we see any crazy plays, but we do already see Mike is already falling behind a little bit with Akane, but even still, that gap can be made up with her passive SGU hype generation, granting her an extra boost every so often, so that pace can be made up. We do see Remy and Flamicat off to the races with each other, each keeping relatively close. We do see Mike just a tad bit behind as the sync begins to come in. Let's see what's going to happen here. Will they attempt to boost, go for strike plays, or will they simply try and race to the top? Do you see Mike boost around the corner here and use a shield to wall ride? And we are already done with the first lap with, unsurprisingly, Flamicat on Roshin being able to maintain about a 100-meter gap ahead of the Akane. But the Akane, Mike with Akane, is absolutely making sure that that gap does not remain that way for long. We do see that they have used a hype boost at least once, so they're going to get plenty more of those and be able to try and catch up. Roshin now 200 meters ahead though. Flamicat's absolutely not going to make it easy to catch back up to her. Remy is unfortunately struggling a little bit, playing KG in the back. KG is a character that relies a lot around being able to wreak havoc on the track when there's only 3 opponents. That might not be sufficient to help him out, but even still. Oh, a KO onto Remy from Mike. Well-placed strike there. And we do see Remy now is quite far behind, but still able to make up that gap. We also have to pay attention to Flamicat, who is 500 meters ahead of second place. Good lord. Just really making sure they are never able to be touched unless they make a mistake. Really showcasing that dominance that they had on the last track as well. On the last time we played Rainy Retreat as well. Being able to take that bend and advance on to the next part of the track. We are about halfway through the race now. There does seem to be a bit of a split forming as Remy is now about 250 meters behind Mike playing as Akane. We do see the overdrive come out with 1 bar of sync, means their overdrive is somewhat powered up. Not at their max potential, but it might just be enough to allow them to catch up to Mike. The distance is closing here on this turn. Oh, but the self-KO from overdrive, unfortunately not able to connect with Mike, does leave them at a bit of a disadvantage. Let's go see how Mike is doing. Mike does have quite a comfortable lead now due to that self-KO from Remy going into lap 4. Now 400 meters ahead of Remy playing KG. But even still, with that lead that Mike has, it's nothing compared to the lead that Flamicat has over Mike. 900 meters ahead of second place now. Really just ensuring that they are never going to be caught. But even still, remember that these team positions are based off of points. So if Mike wants to try and catch up to Flamicat in terms of points here, Mike may need to try and get some strikes onto Remy in order to make up that point deficit and go above 200 points. They already have a KO on Remy, which is an additional 15 points added to their marker, but if they want to catch up the Flammacat, who is now in the final lap, they are going to need to change gears here and not try and race her first. They need to try and be a nuisance to Remy to get those extra points, but it doesn't seem like they're going to be doing that. Remy here with a fairly safe distance of 500 meters behind. They do pop overdrive again, this time with 2 bars of sync, so it's going to be a lot better than before. But even still, KD's overdrive does not tend to last very long, so it's unclear whether they're going to be able to catch up. We do see Remy unfortunately blow themselves up on the wall again, which is just such bad luck, and we don't see Mike adjust their strategy, unfortunately, to try and get those extra KO points. So unfortunately, it does seem like Flammacat, representing the Green Reapers, is going to be the one to take this race. They're about to cross the finish line. And we do see that 1 minute timer is now started. So we are in the back. Mike still can try to adjust their strategy to try and get some points. Will they break to allow Remy to catch up? It doesn't seem like it. It just seems like they're gonna be safe and take the second place, which is a fine strategy if you're in the situation. But we do have now Remy coming up on the finish line last. And here we are. The winner of your race, the Green Reapers, represented by Flammacat, playing Roshin, followed by Strike Force Ramonda, played by Mike with Akane. And last but not least, we have Remy, representing Kagawa Kai, playing KG. An excellent race indeed, with Flammacat really just being able to show how dominant they are on this track. But enough of that, let's talk about round 6, the very next round in lore. Remember how round 5 was one of the members being able to represent each team? Well now, round 6, the other member that wasn't chosen previously will come to race. So that means we're going to see Drizzy come in as Hina, we are going to see Kokokiwi come in as Akemi, and we are going to see Lance come in as Frederic. So those 3 members are also going to be racing in their own race. And what track are they going to be racing on? They're going to be racing on Sector Landing. Probably one of the most popular JSI Exoport tracks and very beloved by the community for just how much fun the lines feel to drive, especially the hairpin at the end, just being able to take those as fast as humanly possible. We do have our flavor of Tentacle on that map, so especially with the picks that we have here, it's quite interesting to see. We have Akemi, who is a very good straight line character, but unfortunately does not quite have the handling required to take some of these tighter turns on Sector Landing. But we also have Hina, representing Strike Force Ramonda, who is just simply a beast on these kinds of turns. That's exactly what she was made for. And then we have Frederic, played by Lance, who is another one of those straight line characters who has a good top speed, much like Akemi, but of course just not able to really make good use of the twisty nature of Sector Landing, just because if he wants to strike to try and regain speed from a corner, he's risking losing himself to the wall. So he does have to be very careful, but Sector Landing does have some straight lines where Akemi and Frederic can take advantage of to try and get the edge over Hina. So we're going to see just how well that ends up going for them. And we are off to the races. Once our representatives pick their proper characters, we'll be on to round 6. Here we are on sector landing. And round 6 begins right now. We do see Kiwi taking an early lead, but again, it doesn't really matter when a track is quite as technical as this, because any lapse in these turns can really cause some significant difference in their pace, just because of how much speed they're taking when they're exiting these corners. We do see Drizzy is currently taking these lines the best as Hina, which is unsurprising given Hina's handling stats. But again, we do now have our sync unlocked, so we're going to see these plays that are being made. Let's see what happens. It seems like people are still being somewhat passive to each other here with regards to the first lap. We do see Kiwi aim for the strike, getting into first, but ultimately not able to take out Drizzy. All three of these members are still very close. Even Lance is being able to stay ahead, but Hina now quickly being able to overtake the pack, now 150 meters ahead going into the hairpins. There are 3 hairpins here, and Hina can use a strike out of all of them if she desires to keep her speed, and that's exactly what Drizzy does in these first 2 hairpins. And she uses a boost on the last one to really keep her speed, now 250 meters ahead, with the other 2 racers now exiting the hairpin. We see Sir Lance using a boost to try and get ahead of Kiwi, but we'll see how long that lasts. We do see Lance still ahead of Kiwi, but Drizzy is now 400 meters ahead. This is really bad for Sir Lance and Kiwi, as it's going to be really difficult for them to catch up. Sir Lance trying to get a strike bait off on Kiwi, but Kiwi not falling for it. Drizzy now taking the straightaway to try and get even more distance off, but Lance and Kiwi can use that to their advantage. Drizzy getting the strike off the turn right afterward, trying and extend their lead. No one really takes a shortcut on sector landing, especially when you're this far ahead, because it's just too risky for not enough gain. We do have another straightaway. Kiwi getting an overdrive kill on Lance. This is going to really put Lance in a bad position here, especially since the three member aspect of the race makes it really hard for Lance to snowball. And Kiwi is also going to use this time to try and catch up to Drizzy. But their shorter overdrive does mean that they won't be able to catch all the way back up. Drizzy's still 250 meters ahead, even after a full overdrive from Kiwi. Lance now 200 meters behind Kiwi, as a matter of fact, because of the KO from Kiwi. So it's going to be really difficult for them to catch back up. Drizzy's still maintaining a comfortable 500-meter lead ahead of Kiwi. Is Kiwi going to be able to get another overdrive and charge it up? We are on the final lap. Center landing, while it is a long track, is only 3 laps long, so you do have to be aware of just how much of the race they've completed when they do these things. We do have Drizzy back on the long straightaway for the final time. We do also have Kiwi and Lance. Lance showing signs of potentially maybe catching up to Kiwi on these straightaways, because they both excel at these both characters excel at these straightaways. But Drizzy is just gone. And Kiwi, much like in the last race, they really need these KO points to try and catch up to Drizzy, because Drizzy is just gone. Kiwi needs to recognize that they need to, if they want to get first place, they need to slow down and try and KO Lance, and that might be what's happening on these hairpins, because Lance is now caught back up, and Lance just has no entropy left to try and catch. Kiwi now behind, so they need to, okay, Kiwi now pops the overdrive, but unfortunately Lance just was able to get away, so Kiwi actually did risk going for the kill on the Sir Lance, but ends up getting 3rd place for their team. Drizzy in first, representing Strike Force Ramonda, followed by Lance, representing Green Reapers, and lastly, Kiwi, representing Kagawa Kai. We are moving now onto race 7 of lore. And much like in race 5, we do see that we have a duos race now. So a duos race in a Screamer is where a leader picks one of the two members to race with them, and it acts otherwise much like a normal team race. They are going to be racing on Echo Dome. And we are going to wait to see what members each team is going to pick to race alongside the leader, who is guaranteed to race on these tracks. Let's take a look now. We do have, for representing Kago Kai, we do have Kuzidas playing Naboru as per usual. For Green Reapers, we have Zephyr playing Hiroshi. And for Strike Force Ramonda, we have Sparrowhawk playing Ritsuko. Which member are these leaders going to choose to represent them? We are going to be waiting now to see which member each leader picks. And remember, we are going to be racing on Sector Echo Dome. This is one of those really twisty tracks, much like Hawk Trail, where you can really get messed up by these turns if you make one bad mistake. And we do have our picks on screen. So let's quickly talk about which members are participating along with these leaders. So we do have Remy playing Keiji alongside Kulidas playing Naboru for Kagawakai. We have Flamicat playing Roshin, playing alongside Zephyr, who's playing Hiroshi for Green Reapers. And we have Drizzy, who is playing Hina alongside Sparrowhawk, who is playing Ritsuko for Strike Force Ramonda. We are waiting for all the players to pick their characters, and now we are on to our duos race within BSH 5 lore. And here we go. We are here on Echo Dome with everyone's characters of choice ready to roll. And we are off. The leaders, of course, taking off in their own pack, with the members following not so closely behind. The real action is going to start as soon as we get into the shortcut here, which, to my knowledge, is not for a while, but we might be able to see some dynamic play happen once the sync lockout is finished as well. Zephyr falling a little bit behind, but nothing that they can't handle. Drizzy just absolutely utilizing Hina to his fullest potential, just being able to outrace Zephyr. Hiroshi's somewhat lack of turning radius is not super great on this track, as Drizzy has now catapulted himself into second place right behind Sparrowhawk. We do see a KO come out already, I believe, from Remy, who is now 100 meters behind the rest of the members. No, that was Drizzy, actually. Drizzy got KO'd up there. That's what happened. And Drizzy is now back down where they should be in 5th place with the rest of the members. The leaders didn't like they were hanging out with them. We do see the shortcut here, which I do believe everyone took successfully. But it does seem like there's been a pretty large pack split now, especially for Remy, who is 200 meters behind. Sparrow Warhawk got KO'd by Kuzidas, which is going to set them back quite significantly. They're now in 4th. Drizzy catching back up. Although Sparrow Warhawk was only 150 meters behind right now, Kuzidas is still racing their heart out, making sure that no one can catch up to them, but the gap is large as theirs. But Warhawk, Drizzy, and Zephyr are not going to be denied quite that easily. Flamicat is also someone to watch out for. They're only 30 meters behind Drizzy. That can make something happen if they're careful. You see some bumping action going on. Strike action, try and chain. No, but they don't have any entropy left. Drizzy using his shield though, so they did get baited by the strike that happened, which could be detrimental. Remy is in the back position, having used overdrive to try and catch up to the rest of the members here, but they might just be too far behind at this point. Zephyr now down in 5th, but what happened to them? The leader's racing among the members now. Roshin's the real leader of Green Reapers, it does seem like. as portrayed in the story, of course. We do see Drizzy getting KO'd by Zephyr though, so Hiroshi proving that he's not all talk. He's gonna catch back up to the rest of these leaders as well. Remy's still deep in 6th, but Kuzidas being able to hold her mantle with 2 KOs, 230 points in 1st place. He's now on the final lap, now 400 meters ahead of Sparrowhawk. A very large advantage on Echo Dome. Sparrowhawk just trying his best to hold the position now, knows that he needs to get KO points along with his teammate to try and catch up to the amount of points that they have. Sparrowhawk is using a shield and a strike to wall ride here to try and just conserve as much speed as possible. They're now 200 meters behind Kuzidas, but they've got to take some turns now, which is going to allow Kuzidas to continue running. Flamicat, on the other hand, is only 50 meters behind Sparrowhawk. Very good play from Flamicat. They might be able to catch up to Hiroshi here and catch him off guard. Sparrowhawk playing Ritsuko. That's my bad. We do see, a great KO onto Zephyr from Sparrowhawk. That's gonna really set back the Green Reapers quite a bit, but the points are still very close. We do see Kuzidas is now finished with the race. Flamicat just trying their best to catch the Sparrow and take the race from them, but Ritsuko's strike puts her across the line first. And we now wait for Remy, about 800 meters behind the rest of the pack, to finish the race. But even with all the racing that happened, Kuzidas having 230 points is going to be enough to put their team in 1st place for the race. What an excellent race from Kuzidas, bringing Kalago Akai to 1st. Strike Force Ramonda in 2nd, and Green Reapers in 3rd. And it's now round 8. Do you want to know what happens in round 8? That's right. It's another duel. Our second duel of the match, where we go from 3 teams down to 2. And now we await our point leader. And it does seem like we do have our points leader. And the points leader is the Green Reapers. We do have the Green Reapers once again as the point leader in the second duel. Who are the Green Reapers going to try and eliminate now? We have 2 choices here. We either have Strike Force Ramonda or Kago Akai. Who are the Green Reapers going to choose to try and eliminate next? The Green Reapers, the current points leader with 60 points. Strike Force Ramonda with 56 points. Kago Akai, 35. Are they going to go for Kago Akai, who might be underperforming by some standards, or are they going to go for Strike Force Ramonda and just take the strongest threat out of the competition immediately? Who are the Green Reapers going to go for? The Green Reapers have chosen Strike Force Ramonda as their opponents. They really want to get that threat out of the game as fast as they possibly can. We are now waiting on Green Reaper's pick for what region they are going to ban. And the Green Reapers ban Forest 13. That means Exilport, Neo Ray, and Skyroad Desert Tracks are available to pick for Strike Force Ramonda. So, there are 24 tracks available for these defenders to pick. Strike Force Ramonda really excel on these technical and twisty tracks, especially with Hina and Ritsuko, just being able to take those corners like bosses without significant loss of speed. Let's see what Strike Force Ramonda picks. They pick Burning Plains. This is actually a very large surprise. Burning Plains is one of these speed tracks, so Warhawk must be very confident they can utilize Ritsuko's speed to front run better than Hiroshi on Burning Plains. So we will see how this pick turns out for them. This is going to be a very interesting ride. But here we are, Strike Force Ramonda versus the Green Reapers. Their duel starts right now. And we are off to Burning Plains as the first race of our second duel in lore. And we are ready to go. We have our duel between Green Reapers, the challenger, and Strike Force Ramonda, the defender. Who is going to come out on top? We do see Zephyr getting a bit of an early breakaway from Sparrow Warhawk and the rest of the pack, but Sparrow Warhawk is following closely behind. We're coming up here on the shortcut. Are these guys going to take it? Zephyr takes it good. Sparrow takes it good. Let's see the members. Are they going to take it good? Yup, we see no crashes from the members. All of them are packed together still. Very good for this first race. No one makes a huge mistake. We do see the members are still very close together. Now that the sync is out, all hell is going to break loose. We do see Mike playing as Akane, being able to have a little bit more speed as a member compared to Hina, but Drizzy, with the cornering advantage, manages to take the corner better than Akane and rockets ahead to try and catch up to the other members. But Sir Lance is back here with Mike. Are they going to try and take each other down? The member is still quite in the pack. Lance preparing a strike. Oh, but it's a bait. Actually, it's a bait and causes Mike to waste a shield, which could be important later on when they don't have any resources to boost with. We do see the shortcut is very clean again. Let's go see what's happening over in the leader area. See who's currently in the lead. They're still quite close together. Ritsuko and Hiroshi, represented by Sparrowhawk and Zephyr. Still very close together. Sparrowhawk took the corner slightly better than Zephyr, but not enough to cause too much of a difference. Zephyr is still very persistent, using that slipstream to catch back up, and Zephyr is now in first! Sparrow Warhawk getting the KO on Zephyr by braking to try and use that strike to take advantage of the position that we're in. And Sparrow Warhawk now 300 meters ahead of Zephyr from that strike. Zephyr really needs to try and catch up here. Let's go to the members and see what they're up to. We do see all the members are still relatively packed together. Sir Lance now behind both of them. We're gonna see the strike bait come out from Lance onto Drizzy. Drizzy's gonna break and try and strike Lance out, but Lance used the shield. But Lance gets strike baited that second time, so they're not gonna have any resources now. Is Lance gonna try and retaliate? And they do! They get the KO on Drizzy. Now able to almost completely refill their sync meter. And Drizzy's gonna be left in the dust here, especially considering that they don't have any resources and Lance has so much to be able to just completely boost away with. The only problem is, Mike is 300 meters ahead at this point with Akane. Is it gonna be enough for Lance to catch back up? It might not matter though, considering Green Reapers is now 30 points ahead. We do see Mike take the shortcut. Let's go see what's happening with the leaders now. Are they still packed together, or does Zephyr have the advantage? Nope, Sparrow actually is the one who has the advantage. About 200 meters ahead, going into lap 5. Sparrow, all Sparrow needs to do is maintain this lead and hope that his members can make up the deficit by getting these KOs. Sparrow has overdrive ready. It remains to be seen whether he's going to pop on the shortcut. Taking the shortcut for the final time, he's going to pop the overdrive on the shortcut to prevent himself from exploding. Nobody does explode! And we do see 3 members now in overdrive at the back. It's chaos! But Sparrow explodes on the shortcut somehow, which is really bad. Allows Zephyr to overtake immediately. This is the pivot that Green Reapers need. They're now 110 points ahead. We do see Mike opting not to take a shortcut because they're vulnerable in overdrive, but Lance decides to risk it anyway because they know that they're in a safe position. We do see Zephyr finishing first over Sparrow Warhawk. That is such a pivotal moment for the Green Reapers the fact that Sparrow Warhawk made that mistake on the shortcut and exploded. Now with a significant point advantage. And that's just going to be enough to take out SFR this race. Green Reapers win race 1 on Burning Plains. Burning Plains may not have been the track pick that SFR wanted for round 1. We are going to wait for Green Reapers to ban their second region of the duel, and also for Strikeforce Armada to respond with hopefully a better track pick. What region are the Green Reapers going to ban? Will it be Exoport, full of its technical and twisty tracks for the most part? Will it be Skyroad Desert, known for having some straight tracks? Or will it be Neo Ray, having a collection of many different kinds of tracks in it? We do have our results, so Green Reapers are going to ban Skyroad Desert now. So now we wait for Strikeforce Ramonda to pick a track between the Exoport region and the array. Which one will they choose? They need to not lose this next race or they are going to be eliminated from the tournament. And we do have our track pick from Strikeforce Ramonda. They pick Anaconda's Nest. Anaconda's Nest is one of those tracks that is infamous for its staggering amount of 90-degree turns. But there's also quite a few straight lines on the track, so the Green Reapers are going to be able to take advantage of those lines to build their speed up and hopefully stay ahead of the competition in Strikeforce Ramonda. But Strikeforce Ramonda definitely can handle these 90-degree turns better, so we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see who will be able to make it. Alright, our second race in the duel between the Green Reapers and Strikeforce Ramonda starts right now. We're going down to Anaconda's Nest. This is Strikeforce Ramonda's last chance. Let's hope they can make it count. And here we go. Strikeforce Ramonda's final chance starts right now. We are coming up on the first 90-degree turn already. Let's see how both of these teams handle the turn. We do see Zephyr here being bumped slightly by Sparrow, but seems to get out of the turn mostly unscathed. Sparrow is trailing quite a little bit, but they are able to handle that turn just fine. Drizzy with Hina just being able to really pick up the pace. Let's go to the back and see how people are doing. We do see Akane in the back. Akane definitely not being able to handle these turns as well as her fellow idols, but even still, she's gonna make sure her name is remembered. Only 30 meters behind Roshin, so she could be an ever-present danger if Flamecat is not careful. We do see Flamecat starting to break away a little bit. Drizzy ahead of all the other members right now, really showing just how good and versatile Hina is on these tracks. We are already in the first line. Wow! A complete side swipe from Sparrow Warhawk onto Zephyr, leading to a KO. Brutal. We do have a Sparrow Warhawk using this advantage and just taking first place from Zephyr, but Zephyr's not too far behind right now either, so he's got to be careful. And Drizzy, on the other hand, still leading the members really strongly, but oh, Flamecat's actually catching up. they're actually neck and neck right now. Roshi and Zlevicat missing the strike and shielding right afterwards to prevent any potential revenge, but Drizzy completely uninterested in taking revenge at that particular moment. We do see Flamecat continuing to strike off these corners just to maintain their speed, but is now overtaking Drizzy as the top member, now 120 meters ahead. The Green Reapers are currently ahead in points, but only by 15. If another Strike Force Ramonda member can get a kill on a Green Reapers member, they are going to be tied. We do see everybody is pretty much consistently holding their positions right now. Lance and Mike are rather close, so we could see some action happen back here. We do see a strike come out, but unfortunately does miss. Mike is still very close to Lance, so we're going to see what happens. Lance also has an opportunity to get a kill onto Drizzy, but we're going to see just how much that opportunity is going to pay. We do see the strike bait come out onto Drizzy. We do see Drizzy break and retaliate with a strike of their own. Lance certainly wasn't expecting that. Drizzy now into 4th place with the kill that they needed. The points are now tied up. Lance trying to get a kill onto Drizzy, but shielding. Drizzy's trying to revenge, but Lance also shielding. These mission points and KO points both matter so much. We do see the KO from Drizzy onto Lance, so Strike Force Ramonda now has 3 KOs to their name. The Green Reapers really need either of these positions or they need to get these KOs. Drizzy and Lance now trying to ram each other into the wall. Drizzy using the opportunity to break away, considering Lance slowed down too much. Zephyr now 150 meters behind Sparrow Warhawk playing Ritsuko. Will they be able to catch up? The gap is closing a little bit, but will it be enough? There's only 1 lap left to go. We do see Mike now 500 meters behind Flamecat. Flamecat has 3rd place completely locked down. The pack for the members has split so significantly to the point where I doubt anyone's going to be catching up to anyone else anytime soon. Green Reapers ahead by currently 5 points. The battle is now basically entirely in the leader's hands. Let's go over there to see what's going on. We do see Zephyr and Sparrow Warhawk completely neck and neck with each other. Whoever wins this duel is going to win the race. We do see Zephyr get a shield from Sparrow Warhawk's attack. Both these members taking these corners so well. Zephyr strikes to try and get away. What answer does Sparrow Warhawk have? He needs to be able to catch up and strike Zephyr out in order to be able to take the race. We do see the members are somewhat close. Lance is now somewhat close to one of the Strike Force Ramonda members in the back. We are going to see Zephyr finish first, though. That's going to be a huge benefit. We do see Lance and Drizzy now here at the back. Drizzy knows what he needs to do. Drizzy needs to strike Lance out in order to get this kill, but Lance is going to try to not let him. Lance with a great shield to defend against Drizzy's attack. Lance knows exactly what Drizzy wants to do with this. But again, they also need to both finish the lap or their position points are not going to count. Drizzy recognizes this and attempts to drive away. Lance has 33 seconds to try and get to the finish line. They really need to finish in order to be able to get the position points. Everyone else has finished. These two are the only people that haven't. They have 20 seconds now to get to the finish line, and I do think they're going to be able to get here. Drizzy is going to try and get a play here for the last time. There's the strike. There's the bait. Lance overtakes, and there they go. They are going to finish before Drizzy, leaving Green Reapers as the winner of this duel. And a great effort from Drizzy to try and get those last remaining points they needed to make up the difference, but Lance outsmarted Drizzy, and by extension, has secured the Green Reapers their victory. What an incredible play from Sir Lance just to be able to defend against their attacks consistently under so much pressure. Unfortunately, we must say goodbye to Strike Force Ramonda. Very shortly, we will be going into round 9 of BSH 5 lore. And this event is somewhat of a repeat, but we are going to be doing yet another leaders only race. But this time, instead of with 4 members, it's only going to be between 2. We have the Green Reapers and we have Kagawa Kai. The Green Reapers and Kagawa Kai are going to be battling it out in round 9, but only with Hiroshi and Noboru. Certainly a rivalry for the ages, but which leader will come out on top? This is the question that is going to be on all of our minds. And what track are they going to be settling this on? They're going to be playing on Steel Bowels, a track infamous for its devastating shortcut. A full 90-degree turn with some of the narrowest stretch of road in the entire game. We are about to see two of the greatest names in Screamer history take each other on the track. It's a 1 versus 1. Alright. We are about to get started on Steel Bowels. This track is just so unforgiving. Any mistake could lead to disaster for either of these leaders. There is no one else to help you. It's only you versus your opponent, and both of you have one shared goal: to crush the competition. Let's see who takes it. Slight technical issue. Ritsuko has appeared on the track even though their team has been disqualified. Apologies for that. Alright. The match between the Green Reapers and Kagawakai is about to commence yet again. Hiroshi versus Noboru, a tale for the ages on Steel Bowels. There we go, we have the two characters properly selected this time, and we are about to head off to the races. Let's do this. We do see, let's pan over to the TV view, try and get some view of both the players here. We do see both of them taking this particular turn very nicely. These initial twisty bends here on Steel Bowels can prove quite fatal if you're trying to take them at full speed, so you do have to be very careful of that. Here we are going towards the very infamous shortcut. Let's see how both these players take it. And we see Kudos and Zephyr both take it very cleanly. Both players still in lockout, so they're not going to be able to strike each other out just quite yet. We're going to see how these players use their sync. Are they going to use it on the 90-degree turn here? And it does seem like they both are going to be able to utilize it. Kudos off with an early lead from his superior handling, but Zephyr with his better boosting is going to catch back up. We are on the straightaway here. Kudos 100 meters now the advantage. We're back into the turns here. Zephyr navigating them quite well, but Kudos being able to match his pace, if not exceed it. Really waiting on one of these players to make a mistake, because if one of these players makes a mistake, that's when it's really going to be hazardous. We do see that they're both together, some strike baiting coming out. Yep, Zephyr now strike baited. Zephyr choosing to utilize the strike to get away from Kudos as fast as possible, because they don't have any sync. They really need to build it back up. A strike from Kudos, another one, and it connects onto Zephyr. Kudos is now ahead of Zephyr. This is going to be really bad. 180 meters separate them both, but Zephyr is not going to give up just that easily, because he knows he wants to win this. Kudos now entering lap 3 on Steel Bowels. We are going to see him take these turns just as well as he does in the first 2 laps. Still maintaining a 150 meter advantage over Zephyr. Any distance counts in these 1v1 races. We see Kudos go into the shortcut here. Will he be able to take it clean as well? He's going to strike through the corner, and he's off. He is full speed ahead of that corner. Grandly popped the shield in order to wall ride around the corner. Will Zephyr do the same? No, Zephyr is actually didn't wall ride quite as well, because they're now about 200 meters behind. Let's pan over to them and see what they're dealing with. already about 300 meters behind. This is not a good situation for Zephyr to be in. There's only 2 laps left to go. Zephyr needs to be able to overtake Kuzidas here in order to take the race away from him, but it's going to be hard. There's no one else left to help him. He needs to clutch up here and get in front. Kuzidas now 250 meters ahead. He's going to enter the shortcut for the 4th time. Let's see how he's doing. We do see Zephyr also taking the cut, but the advantage is slowly shrinking. Zephyr is managing to catch back up, though he doesn't have any sync or entropy. This is not going to be a great situation for him. Let's see what kind of resources Kuzidas has in comparison. We do see Kuzidas still about maintaining a 200-meter lead. Does he have what it takes to be able to hold this lead for the rest of the time? He still cannot make a single mistake. 200 meters is not far enough to count Zephyr out of this. Zephyr needs to continue racing, like everything he has depends on it. Let's pan over to Kuzidas for the final lap. Let's see what he does. We are about to get into the shortcut for the 5th and final time, so let's see, will Kuzidas be able to take it? They have quite a significant amount of entropy, so they're going to be able to strike through it just fine, and we do see them being able to take it. They do pop the shield, they strike through the corner to be able to wall ride. Zephyr now 100 meters behind. There is still time, although not much. Zephyr has to make a play in order to try and catch up. Will they be able to do it, or will Kuzidas be able to go undefeated? And there it is. Kuzidas taking 1st place in the leaders-only race between Kagawakai and Green Reapers. Stellar performance from both leaders, but Kuzidas edging out Zephyr just based off of him having better cornering on these turns of Steel Battles. And now we wait to see who the point leader is for our final duel of the night. There's one more duel because there's 2 more teams and only one can be crowned champion. And we do have information from the announcer herself that the current point leader is once again Green Reapers. The Green Reapers are once again the points leader for our final duel. So once again, everyone here knows how this works. We have Green Reapers banning 1 track region per race, and Kagawakai responding by picking a track of their own. Which region is the Green Reaper going to ban? There is Neo Ray, Skyroad Desert, Forest number 13, and JSI Exoport. A large variety of tracks to pick from, but a quarter of them will be gone in just a moment. The points are now completely out the window. We do have our challengers and defenders, but if Kagawakai can play to the best of their ability, doesn't matter how many points they have, they will win. Green Reapers choose to ban Forest number 13 from the roster. That means Neo Ray, Skyroad Desert, and the Exoport remain. And we wait now for Kagawakai to pick their track of choice. And they pick the Port. The Port being an extended version of Downtown Run, a 5-lap track, potentially the single longest track in the entire game due to it being 5 laps. A test of speed, a test of endurance. All right. And we are getting ready to start with our first race of the duel. Let's see who will come out on top on the Port. Race number 1 of the final duel. Let's go. And we are off. Green Reapers versus Kagawa Kai. The duel to end off BSH 5 lore. We do see Kuzidas off to an early start. Kogakiwi also in third, leading the members. Zephyr trailing slightly behind Kuzidas, but Kuzidas still maintaining the lead as best as he can. We are seeing Kogakiwi on Akemi, who really excels at these more straight tracks because of her higher top speed. Let's see if they can build overdrive and really make the competition fear her. We do see Flamicat try and score a KO, but Kiwi shielding to prevent any shenanigans from occurring. We are about to get into the port's one of two shortcuts. So let's see what they do here. We do see Sir Lance here taking the shortcut with tact. KG, unfortunately, with Remy falling somewhat far behind, but not too far behind. If they get that overdrive, they can easily catch back up. We do see now the second shortcut of the port. Zephyr and Kuzidas still in front, about 80 meters between each other. Flamicat KOing Kogakiwi in the back, being able to take over third place. Green Reaper still behind by 15 points though. They need that extra KO if they're going to tie these points up. But Kuzidas and Zephyr now fighting here in the front. Zephyr with a somewhat reasonable amount of resources to their name, being able to boost into position to hopefully get Captain Kuzidas, but unfortunately does not take the corner the best, allowing Kuzidas to get that lead. Kiwi popping overdrive. We're going to see if they're able to cap the Flamicat. It's a bad crash, assuming they could wall ride that. And their overdrive is already about to run out, so they are not going to be able to cap the Flamicat there. Although we do have the shortcut here, will Kiwi be able to catch a Flamicat off guard here? No, they bang into the wall, really gonna mess with their speed, especially since the Akemi doesn't have the best acceleration. And Flamicat with Rogine is just gonna be able to use her strikes to break away. We do have Sir Lance stuck between both of the Kagawa Kai members, only about 100 meters between them and both the members. Remy with KG still struggling to try and catch up. Let's go over to the leaders. Let's see who's currently in the front. We do see Kuzidas is leading the leaders position right now, 400 meters ahead of Zephyr. This is even with that advantage though, the Green Reapers still have the advantage as Flamicat is holding down third place, which is the first position of the members, and Zephyr pops overdrive in order to attempt to cap the Kuzidas, but unfortunately it might be too little too late. An excellent wall drive from Zephyr, utilizing the shield they get from overdrive in order to be able to wall ride. But they do have to be careful here because the upcoming shortcut is quite thin, and they may not be able to take it. They choose not to take it. Their overdrive has a little bit of juice left in it and close the gap down to about 100 meters. But unfortunately, it's just not going to be enough to fully catch up. Still about 150 meters between both leaders now. We are going to have to see what's happening in the back. We do see a lot of these, a lot of the members are quite split. We see a group of two. Oh, a KO onto Kiwi, I think that was. And they're now down in fourth. We do see Remy popping overdrive and trying to catch up the Lance, trying to get that KO point. Will it happen? Yes, it will. We do see Lance getting KO'd by Remy, which is going to be very good for Remy and being able to hold down that position. Remy's now 300 meters ahead of Sir Lance. Sir Lance has no way to get back into this game unless they pop an overdrive of their own. We do see Remy is still holding down 5th place and might catch up the Kogakiwi even with an overdrive of their next as they build up with their sync, but the real thing they need to worry about is Flamicat. Flamicat is just so far ahead of all these other members, but they need to catch up in order to be able to take the position. But even still, with Flamicat holding down 3rd place, Kuzidas with their lead over Zephyr is now 30 points ahead of the Green Reapers. So it really is just anyone's game. But unfortunately, there's just too much of a pack split for really any combat to happen to make these points up for the Green Reapers. 300 meters separate Kuzidas and Zephyr, which is a large gap on a map like this, especially when we're on the final lap for these leaders. We do see the members now entering into their final lap as well. do see Zephyr here about to take the cut. We do see Flamicat here just trying to maintain their third place position. They're 500 meters ahead of Kiwi. Kiwi does have an overdrive ready, but unfortunately their overdrive is not going to be very strong when there's no one to KO, because remember, Akemi overdrive timer pauses whenever they get a KO, but the thing is, otherwise their overdrive is half as long as normal. We do see Remy popping their overdrive to get ahead. We do see Lance popping their overdrive to try and get a kill on Lance. We're trying to get a kill on Kiwi. Kiwi responded by popping their own overdrive, leaving Lance to rot in the dust. But it does seem like everybody is going to hold their positions quite comfortably now, unless Lance makes something happen here on the final moments of this race. We do see Kiwi and Remy just being able to hold down these positions. We have Lance playing Frederick 150 meters behind. They can't really strike to catch up because they'll risk KOing themselves. Now 200 meters behind Remy. We are coming up on the final stretch. We already have our leaders finished, and Flamicat also about to finish the race. Remy is 60 meters ahead of Lance. Lance could make something happen. He has 2 bars of entropy. He needs to make something happen here, or it's game over. Will it happen? Will the strike come off? No, Remy dodges. Wait, but wow, the overtake from Lance is actually enough to put Green Reapers in first place of the race. They got the 30 points they needed. That position change actually put Green Reapers into first place for the race. They are up 1-0 over Kagawakai. What an insane change in position at the very last moment. This just goes to show these point differences between people on the top are no joke. It's a difference of, I believe, 30 points between 5th and 6th place. So Lance passing up Remy with that strike there is what secured the Green Reapers their win. This is Kagawakai's last chance to make something happen. They need to win this next race or they will be eliminated, and the Green Reapers will be the champions of BSH 5. We are going to take a couple-minute recess here for the teams to choose their bans and picks. The Green Reapers have yet another region to ban. Will they ban Exoport? Will they ban Skyroad Desert? Will they ban Neo Ray? And more importantly, which track will Kagawakai choose to put themselves back into the game? Hello everyone. We are back with BSH 5 lore with our second race of the final duel. And we do have information on the bans and the pick. Green Reapers are going to be banning the Neo Ray region. And in a shocking turn of events, Kagawakai pick Cradles, a track that is very infamous for its shape, being the most speed-oriented track available in the game. So we are going to see who is able to take it, because both of these teams have great speed-oriented characters on their teams. Cradles is such an interesting pick from Kagawakai. Something that we often don't really see in these kinds of matches, but this isn't a conventional match. This is BS hours. We are here to see unconventional plays. We are here to see impossible comebacks. So, what is Kagawa Kai's plan? Only time will tell. Again, let's talk about the strengths of Green Reapers versus Kagawa Kai. We have Hiroshi versus Naboru. Hiroshi known for being one of the fastest members on the track, with between his excellent boost, his extra secondary boost, and his high top speed. He is easily one of the fastest on the track amongst the leader positions, and he's put up against Naboru, who has very good handling on his car and extreme amounts of entropy generation, being able to utilize his strikes constantly in order to catch up with the rest of the pack and fire off overdrives a lot more consistently than any other member could do. We do have, in addition to that, we do have our members as well, who are also important. Roshin, one of the most popular member choices in the entire game, due to her insane acceleration and one-cost strikes, being able to take turns at nearly full speed and come out of them looking just as strong as when she entered, is a prime pick. Frederic is an agent who loves to cause chaos on the stream. Who loves to cause chaos on the racetrack with his very powerful strikes, but he's also very volatile during them. The risk is high, but the reward for pulling them off is even higher, as he's rewarded an extra bar of sync to utilize to regain that entropy and strike again, as well as pop more boost and shield in his time, making him a dangerous member if he can snowball. On the other side with Kagawa Kai, KG is all about making sure people know his name. He has a 4-cost overdrive, the lowest in the entire game, and he can also get the fastest overdrive in the game if he has 2 sync, which is an incredible number. At 390 kilometers per hour, probably the fastest among the member overdrives. Akemi can make her overdrive last much longer, on the other hand, by snowballing off of other opponents. KG and Akemi both work at their best. There are other people around them to snowball off of, which is somewhat limited in a duel environment. However, that doesn't mean they can't shift their focus entirely to the Green Reapers that may be in the pack with them and make their lives a living hell. And we are on the cradles. Well, wait a minute. Why is there a new team? Huh? We have the tournament crew? We have the announcer, Mr. A, and Fermi showing up to the track in the second race of the duel between the Green Reapers and Kagawa Kai. What is this? We are seeing the announcer here on the cradles, along with the rest of the tournament crew. What will happen? This is a completely unexpected twist on the duel. Kuzidas, of course, already off to the races, although Mr. A is quickly pulling ahead. We see announcer here in the back, just trying to catch up and cause havoc among the other people. And we see Mr. A is already popping an overdrive, trying to extend his lead as far as possible. We see chaos rain down on the track from ahead of the announcers here. Unfortunately, the announcer seems to have rigged the camera, so we can't exactly see anyone else's perspective in this race, but I guess the announcer wanted some spotlight time on her. Kokakiwi trying to take advantage by striking the announcer out, but the announcer not having any of it. Announcer now at SS style, being able to rack up that sync like no other. She now has her overdrive ready. What is she gonna do? And She's now popped overdrive, now on her way to try and catch up to Flamicat. Now on triple S style with an extreme amount of sync generation after her overdrive ends. Will she be able to get the KO? She elects not to KO, actually, instead leaving the Roshin to live. We are now about halfway through the race, and Mr. A is still comfortably in the lead. We do see Flamicat on Roshin pop her overdrive as well, so she may be able to catch up to the announcer here, but it's looking unlikely just because of how much sync is being generated. We do see the shield come out. There's one shield. There's a second shield, and Flamicat is now overtaking the announcer, but the announcer is still at SS style, so she's going to have a lot of sync in her tank. And there it goes, another overdrive is ready to be used. And here we go. We do see Kuzidas is now retaking first place over. We do see Kuzidas now overtaking first place over Mr. A, being able to stave off their victory. But the tournament crew is just completely unstoppable. They are in first place over both Kagawakai and the Green Reapers. Will either team be able to stop them? Everyone seems to be very split apart on the cradles, as tends to happen with a track such as this. No one's really able to make any opportunity to catch up, but the announcer here is still pumping out boosts like it's nothing. We do have a KO on the Kuzidas, but they are still in first place due to just how far ahead they are. We are about to see yet another overdrive from the announcer. Zephyr actually has now overtaken Kuzidas, and the Green Reapers have found their way into first. Are we going to see yet another overdrive from the announcer? Yup, there we go. And Mr. A has also popped their own overdrive. Mr. A KOing Zephyr and sending him into third place. The leaders are extremely packed with each other. Which one will come out on top? We are on the final lap for most of these members here, but the leaders are about to finish their own battle as well. We do see Kuzidas and Mr. A battling for that first place. It does seem like Kuzidas is going to be the first leader to cross the line, but I don't know if it's enough. There's 5 points separating the tournament crew and Kagawakai. All the leaders have now crossed the line. Announcer is about to make their play to get to the front as well. And there we go, down the final stretch to finish off announcer's race here in the pack. Now we graciously await all the other racers to finish their parts of the race as well. What an excellent race from every single leader involved. Mr. A not being able to take out the other leaders, and Kuzidas instead being the leader that takes first place. I do think though, however, that tournament crew has taken the first place here. 15 points ahead of Kagawakai and 40 points ahead of the Green Reapers. Who knew the tournament crew was going to make a surprise appearance? How is this duel going to pan out? We do have yet another race on the cradles. What is going on? We now have Sparrowhawk playing as Fermi for the tournament crew. Oh, this is quite the duel. We do see the announcer getting their first style ratings up. They're now at A rank after lap 1. Mr. A currently in third amongst the leaders. However, they have popped overdrive. We're gonna see if they can overtake some of the other leaders here. They have overtaken both Kuzidas and Zephyr, so we'll see if they can maintain their lead in first. Kogakiwi taking the opportunity they can to try and stay ahead of the announcer, but it might be a futile effort as the announcer is now almost at FSS style rating, so their sync generation is going to go nuts. Mr. A popping yet another overdrive to try and extend their lead. Announcer trying to, oh, there's the strike bait onto Kogakiwi from the announcer. And there is the overdrive. Both Kogakiwi and announcer popped overdrive, but Kemi's overdrive is faster. That's gonna lead to a KO! Amazing work from Kogakiwi to get that strike onto the announcer. The announcer looking worse for wear, but their style rank is still quite high, so they're going to be able to get back into the game just fine. Kuzidas has overtaken Mr. A as the top reigning leader. A lot of these members have split on cradles again, as tends to do halfway through the map. Kuzidas popping an overdrive of their own to try and extend their lead even further. Zephyr actually also popping their overdrive up there with Kuzidas. In addition, Remy is also popping their overdrive to try and catch up to announcer, but their overdrive is almost ready as well, so everyone's going to be overdriving. The gap between Remy and the announcer is widening ever further, and they're going to catch up to Kogakiwi. Let's see if they take it by surprise. Nope. We do see that Kogakiwi is prepared for it, but unfortunately doesn't have an answer. Kogakiwi actually popping an overdrive of their own. Will they be able to catch up to the announcer, or will it run out before they get there? We do have Mr. A in third right now. We do Mr. A in third right now. They do get KO'd. We do see Kogakiwi as well keeping pace here with the announcer. We don't know if we don't know what they're gonna do though. They could decide to strike. And now just firing these boosts off one by one, being able to get one basically every second now. Missing the strike onto Kogakiwi, taking a bit of a hit to their style, getting strike baited as well. But also strike baiting Kiwi right back, forcing them to waste their sync as well. Ooh, that's quite the bump that announcer took. Now suffering from style. Zephyr here to join the party, a whole lap ahead of everyone else. And here comes the overdrive. What will happen? Kiwi avoids. Kiwi pops that overdrive of their own. Are they going to be able to catch up to the announcer? What's going to happen here? It does seem like they're going at around the same speed, so it does seem like the announcer is going to be relatively safe. We do see Zephyr finishing the race in first. Announcer getting a KO onto Zephyr, but Zephyr's already finished the race, so that doesn't award any points. We do see the timer now at 40 seconds. How many people are not going to be able to finish the race? And we see announcer here finishing the race in fourth. But I do believe Kagawakai is the points leader of this race. Kagawakai is in fact the points leader with 350 points. We do have a official winner from the announcer, and the winner of the tournament goes to Kagawakai, having won their race on Cradles. And Kagawakai is composed of Kuzidas on Naboru, Remy on Keiji, and Kokakiwi on Akemi. Congratulations to Kagawakai for winning BSH 5 lore. With a surprise tournament crew entry at the end, but even that wasn't able to stop them as Kagawakai was able to pull through on the Cradles and secure victory for their team. We hope everybody had a great time watching Bullshit Hours 5, and we hope to see you here at the next one. Thank you guys. This is Mila, signing out.